Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off our presentation today on possession. This is the first slide, and I want to warmly welcome you all. Today, we'll explore the concept of possession, its significance, and how it impacts our learning and development. We'll also touch on some key ideas and practical strategies. So, let's get started and delve into this fascinating topic together. Verily, Satan flows in the bloodstream of Adam's descendants. What this means is that, according to Islamic teachings, the influence of Satan is not just external, but is ingrained within human nature itself. It suggests that evil tendencies and temptations are part of our very being, passed down through generations. This highlights the importance of self-awareness and spiritual vigilance, as our innate inclinations can be subtly influenced by negative forces. Understanding this concept helps us recognize the ongoing internal struggle between good and evil within each of us. It ties into the broader theme of personal responsibility and the need for constant effort to resist temptation and seek righteousness. Let's take a closer look at how these experiences are confirmed. First, we see that they are supported by the Quran and Ahadith, which are our primary sources of guidance. This means that these experiences are not just anecdotal, they have a solid foundation in our sacred texts. Next, we consider the role of early Muslim scholars. Throughout history, scholars have studied and documented these phenomena, offering us valuable insights and validation. Their work helps us understand that these experiences are recognized within our spiritual tradition. We also acknowledge that many reports and countless experiences have been shared over time. These stories serve as a testament to how common and impactful such experiences can be among believers. Finally, it's important to note that these experiences are most likely to affect those with weak faith. When our faith is fragile, we might be more susceptible to certain spiritual influences. Recognizing this helps us understand the importance of strengthening our faith to protect ourselves. All these points tie back to the overall theme of our presentation, which emphasizes awareness, understanding, and strengthening our connection with Allah to navigate our spiritual journey safely. Possession can happen under several circumstances. One way is when someone harms jinns either intentionally or unintentionally. For example, using bones or dung to clean oneself or to take food away from the jinns can provoke them. Cursing the jinns, especially the shaitan, is another cause. When we curse the shaitan, it may grow stronger and even lead to possession. There is a tradition mentioned in Tirmidhi where the shaitan says, "By my power I will possess him," but instead, we should say Bismillah to seek protection. Possession can also occur through magic, especially when jinns are used intentionally for that purpose. Protecting children is very important too. Keeping them inside at Maghrib time can help prevent harm. Most importantly, we should always seek refuge from the shaitan, regularly saying, "Udhu billahi min ash-shaytanir rajim," helps guard us against possession. Remember, being mindful of these points and maintaining good practices can help us stay safe from jinn possession. Let's take a closer look at this powerful verse. It warns against those who indulge excessively in usury, comparing their behavior to being confounded by Satan himself. Essentially, it highlights how some people distort the concept of buying and selling, claiming it's just another form of usury, which is not true. In reality, Allah has made buying and selling lawful, while usury remains forbidden. The key point here is awareness. If someone recognizes this divine guidance and chooses to stop their usurious practices, they are allowed to keep their previous gains. Ultimately, it's Allah who will judge their intentions and actions. However, the verse also issues a stern warning. Those who persist in usury after being warned will face severe consequences, specifically eternal punishment in the fire. Connecting this to our overall theme, it's about understanding the importance of adhering to Allah's commands and recognizing the spiritual and moral consequences of our financial actions. This verse underscores that true success lies in obeying divine guidance and avoiding practices like usury that lead us astray. Let's delve into the perspectives of At-Tabrani regarding this verse. He explains that Satan causes a person to stumble in life, essentially making them straggle or become possessed by Satan. When he talks about the touch of Satan, he's referring to madness, highlighting how Satan's influence can lead to a loss of mental clarity. Ibn Kathir adds that on the day of judgment, this person will rise unbalanced and in a state of madness, essentially fumbling around, unable to find stability. This touch from Satan signifies confusion and chaos that affects the individual's entire being. Furthermore, Ibn Haytham reports Ibn Abbas saying that those who devour interest, meaning engaging in usury, will be resurrected insane and in a suffocating fit of madness. This emphasizes the severe spiritual and mental consequences tied to such actions. Lastly, Al-Qurtubi uses this verse as evidence against those who claim that insanity is purely physical. He clarifies that Satan does indeed influence and touch the mentally disturbed, showing that mental affliction can have spiritual roots as well. All these points underscore a key theme in our presentation: the profound impact of Satan's influence on both this world and the hereafter, reinforcing the importance of guarding our faith and actions. Vamos explorar las ideas de Ibn Qayyim sobre los tipos de epilepsia o ataques de locura. Él nos indica que existen dos categorías principales. La primera son los ataques que resultan de espíritus terrenales. Estos, según él, están relacionados con causas espirituales o sobrenaturales. La segunda categoría, en cambio, son los ataques que tienen causas biológicas o humorales, que podemos entender como causas físicas o médicas. Lo más importante aquí es entender que, en su perspectiva, los ataques de este tipo que tienen causas físicas son tratables por los médicos, los profesionales de la salud. Sin embargo, aquellos que se deben espíritus o causas espirituales deben ser abordados por sabios, eruditos y pensadores, quienes tienen el conocimiento espiritual y religioso necesario para tratar estos casos. Este enfoque nos ayuda a conectar con la visión integral que Ibn Qayyim tenía sobre la salud mental y física, y como en su tiempo se diferenciaba claramente entre las causas espirituales y físicas. Es fundamental entender esta distinción para apreciar su visión sobre el tratamiento y la atención a estas afecciones, resultando que no solo se trata de una cuestión médica, sino también espiritual y filosófica. Now, let's explore how possession can impact the psychological aspects of human beings. When someone is affected by possession, we often see noticeable personality changes. These shifts can alter how a person normally behaves or interacts with others, sometimes making them seem like a different person altogether. In addition to personality shifts, physical changes may also occur. These can include sudden movements or expressions that weren't present before, reflecting the influence of the possession on the body itself. Cognitive changes are also common. This might mean alterations in thought processes, memory, or even difficulty concentrating, which can be quite distressing for the individual. Spiritual changes are another significant aspect. The person might experience a shift in their spiritual beliefs or feelings of disconnect from their usual faith or spiritual practices. You might also notice rapid mood shifts, where someone quickly swings from happiness to anger or fear without apparent reason. Along with this, uncontrollable laughing or crying episodes can happen, often seemingly out of nowhere. Depression is also frequently observed, as the person may feel overwhelmed or hopeless due to these profound changes. Additionally, a preference for solitude or withdrawal can develop, as the individual might feel safer or more comfortable alone, away from others who might not understand what they're experiencing. Overall, these psychological effects highlight how possession is not just a spiritual or supernatural phenomenon, but deeply affects the mental and emotional well-being of individuals. Understanding these changes helps us better support those affected and recognize the complex nature of possession. Let's talk about some of the physical changes that can occur in these cases. One notable change is voice change, which can happen suddenly and unexpectedly. Then, there's preternatural strength, where individuals might exhibit strength beyond normal limits, often surprising those around them. Epileptic convulsions are also reported, which can look like seizures and are a serious symptom to consider. We also see catatonic symptoms, where a person might become unresponsive or exhibit rigid postures, sometimes for extended periods. Interestingly, some individuals experience anesthesia to pain, meaning they don't feel pain despite injuries or stimuli. Additionally, psychosomatic pains, especially migraines, are common. These are real pains that seem to have no physical cause but are linked to psychological factors. All these physical changes highlight how complex and varied the manifestations can be, emphasizing the importance of understanding these symptoms within the broader context of psychological and physical health. Let's take a closer look at some of the cognitive changes that can occur in this context. One interesting phenomenon is speaking a language one does not know. This can happen in certain cases of dissociation or altered states of consciousness, where language abilities seem to manifest unexpectedly. Another point is speaking elaborate but apparently meaningless speech, which can sometimes appear during dissociative episodes or in certain neurological conditions. We also see clouding of consciousness, which refers to a state where awareness is diminished or unclear, making it difficult to focus or process information effectively. Preternatural knowledge is another intriguing aspect. This is when individuals seem to have knowledge beyond what should be possible, almost like a supernatural insight. Recurring nightmares and insomnia are also common, reflecting the disturbed sleep patterns and emotional turmoil that often accompany these states. These cognitive changes highlight how deeply altered mental states can affect perception, understanding, and awareness. Connecting this to our overall theme, these cognitive phenomena underscore the complex interplay between consciousness and mental health, reminding us of the importance of understanding these changes to better support those experiencing them. Let's talk about some of the spiritual changes that can occur. One key sign is a strong reaction to Quranic recitation or the adhan, which might manifest as feelings of deep connection or even emotional responses. These reactions often indicate a heightened spiritual awareness or a shift in one's inner state. Another change we might observe is the abandonment of religious practices. This could mean that someone who previously engaged regularly in prayer or other rituals begins to distance themselves from these acts. It's important to recognize that these changes can be complex and may be influenced by various personal or external factors. Overall, these spiritual shifts are significant because they reflect how a person's inner life and relationship with their faith can evolve over time. They remind us to approach such changes with understanding and compassion, recognizing that spiritual journeys are deeply personal and varied.